Welcome to Brain Junk. I'm Trace Kerr.
And I'm Amy Barton, and I picked up a pumpkin spice latte on my way here. And I had the intention of either calling Trace and asking if she wanted one or sharing the one I have. And I started drinking it, and I did not offer to share at all. But we're going to talk about the cultural trend of things like pumpkin spice latte. They just explode, and they're everywhere, and you hate them. And you hate yourself because you kind of love them sometimes, or you're somewhere in that mix. I kind of hate myself because I love everything, the pumpkin spice everything. I love it. So we're going to talk about that today. My conflicted emotions. I'm getting the psychologist couch out right now.
Yay! Everything you never knew you wanted to know about the pumpkin spice effect.
Yes.
I want to go way back. We haven't talked about these items, have we? Did you look at what I had on the website?
I peeked a little bit.
Okay.
I didn't want to double.
Oh, that's true. We didn't want to double up. Well, I'm going to go way back. This will age me completely to the tape and then the CD subscriptions.
I saw the picture for that and I immediately felt anxious, like I have a bill coming.
Right? So before there was iTunes and before there was Spotify and all that sort of stuff, you went off to college and the first thing you got in the mail was an application for a credit card. Mm-hmm. Because we had no money. And two, you got this really cool form from, well, many companies. Columbia House was the one that was hugely popular.
Yeah.
And it had lists of tapes at the time of all the different music that was out. And you could check off 10 and send in a penny, and you would get those 10 tapes for free. Well, you got them for a penny, which was great, right? You're like, this is perfect. Well, there was a catch. They would send you once a weekish.
It was frequent.
Another tape that you didn't ask for. And if you didn't mail it back within a certain amount of time, which was usually somewhere like, it came, you had to immediately send it back.
Yeah.
Then they would charge you for it and you would get a bill.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how many people that I know that are my age that went to collections because
of a Milli Vanilli tape
that was hidden somewhere under their bed because they were in the middle of finals, and who could remember to send that stupid thing back?
Yeah.
It was
Columbia
such
House
a scam.
Destroyed so many young people's credit.
Yeah. It was such a thing. But everybody who's, I'd say, we're in our 40s-ish. I think that generation of people, I mean, I've mentioned it, and like you said, they see the picture, and they're like, oh my gosh.
It's the adult version of the book order form that your kid brings home. It's like, I could have all of these things.
And it's such a great deal, and you could get out of it. That's one thing I don't quite remember. I think you had to actually write them a letter, which was another nice hurdle, because you'd have to sit down, take the time to write it, stamp it, send it off.
And it's not the same address that you send your bill to.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Yeah,
No,
it was a total pyramid scheme of music.
Yeah, and it totally worked. It got a lot of Barton money. Chris loves music, and so he would always... we can keep this one.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it'll be totally fine.
It's just $10.
I didn't know that I needed a whole tape of ocarina music. But here it is.
Ocarina for all seasons. Yes.
Okay, so what's another trend?
Well, I went with pumpkin spice because I was curious about how long has this been a thing? When did this sprout up? And it's been a thing since about 2003 is when it really exploded. But pumpkin spice has actually been around. According to the Washington Post, they did a little digging because they were curious too. And 1936 was the first mention that they could find in any media of any kind. And it turns out that that was in the Washington Post. So that was a pumpkin spice cake is a desirable dessert for a family dinner. Blah, blah, blah. It goes on and talks about that. It does talk about it's a food for Italian peasantry.
Pumpkin just in general? Or
I do. Yeah, pumpkins grow like crazy in a garden. There, zucchini and pumpkins. You're going to have, I provided baby pumpkins to the entire kindergarten, and I could have done the whole first grade last year.
Holy
it's not
cow.
a lot of work if you have the right garden, at least here in the Northwest.
Wow.
So it is common. It's easy to use. And I think there is that I have zucchini coming out my ears, and in a few weeks it'll be pumpkins. So yeah, pumpkin spice, for those of you that are curious, are 4 parts ground cinnamon, 2 parts ground ginger, 1 part cloves, and half a part nutmeg was one of the recipes I found because I thought you might want to know that.
There's also, we'll have a link to a video on our website. It's done by College Humor.
Yeah.
and they talk about being basic.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this whole night of basic people supporting them, and and they talk about the pumpkin spice latte. It's not clean for the younger people, but it is hilarious. So we're gonna have it up there so you can. And it kind of deals with the whole thought of, what when you call someone basic, it's that they supposedly like what everybody else likes. And that's what
Okay.
all of these things are, is that they become a trend, and then for some reason we all just fall in love with it. And then
Yeah.
I think later sometimes we're like, what happened to me? I didn't know I wanted a cinnamon flavored toothpick or a pumpkin spice latte or one of these things. The cinnamon flavored toothpicks.
Yeah.
When I was in elementary school and middle school, I can remember it was always the janitor, which is kind of creepy now that I think about it, that had in his shirt pocket, he'd have cinnamon flavored
I
toothpicks.
forgot about those.
And if you were anointed by the janitor, you'd see a kid walking by and he'd have the toothpick sticking out of his mouth, and you'd be like, oh, I got one of those toothpicks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're special.
They were super cool.
Yes. I do remember that. I have seen popping up lately since it's fall. It's a picture of 5 girls with long brown hair, black vests, white long sleeve shirts, tight jeans, and tall brown boots. And the comment is, "Oh, look, it's Han Solo season." I adore that so very much. And then I think that looks comfortable. That long vest covers anything you don't want to show. And so it's one of those things.
That
I'm looking forward to.
sounds very
It's
Portland,
super fun.
Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of very Northwest. The pumpkin spice thing, though, it kind of was popping up in the 90s, excuse me, as coffee shops are popping up. But really, Starbucks in the early 2000s was like, we need something to go to precede these Christmas beverages. And so they're pitching ideas, and pumpkin does lend itself nicely to a drink flavor. However, interestingly, it peaked last year, apparently, the whole trend in 2017, according to Nielsen and 1010 data, they found that overall pumpkin spice sales, it had reached a new high, but growth from the previous year was much slower. So it's down 6% compared to 20% in 2013.
Wow.
So the trend is slowing down a little, but it was so huge, I don't think that's going to be appreciably felt.
Well, because didn't we kind of saturate? I mean, I think
Yeah.
just in the past week or so, I've seen pumpkin spice Cheerios, pumpkin spice Pop-Tarts, pumpkin spice candles, pumpkin spice, coffee creamer. And it's just, come on, guys. I mean,
told
there
myself I was
are...
going to take a picture of every pumpkin spice item I could find, and I gave up almost immediately. Here's my list. They're the Pop-Tarts, Kit Kats, Milano cookies,
Oh, yeah,
Jell-O, pumpkin spice protein powder, instant pumpkin spice latte for dogs. And this isn't the only things.
For dogs?
Yeah. And dog treats, all kinds of dog treats.
Oh, my gosh. Come on, guys.
I didn't even do pumpkin spice muffins and granola bars because I figured we all know that's going to be a thing. But pumpkin spice sparkling cider looks like something from Harry Potter, and I
It
don't
probably
want it.
tastes like a candle,
That's what I think. Yes, a
which
murky,
is fine if
dirt-flavored
that's
candle.
what you're into. But I am not.
No. How about kombucha? Now, kombucha is such a. Some of them taste like bad breath smells, and I feel like this would be that. I don't think this would come out well in kombucha.
We're going to get some hate mail.
Some kombuchas are so lovely, and they're all so wonderful for your guts. Have I said enough nice things?
I think you have.
Okay, margarine spread, pumpkin spice baking chips. They look waxy and terrible. Pet treats, Peeps. Oh, Peeps, the marshmallow Peeps. Pumpkin spice salsa. No. I'm sure there's an argument for it, but I'm not on board with it.
No.
Trace's face says she's
No.
not either.
No.
Gum. I clicked through on the gum because I thought this is one of those fake ones. We have pumpkin spice brake pads. Get yours today. Because I've seen that at a local brake shop, and I almost went to them because I feel like they deserve some business for that.
Oh,
Pumpkin
man.
spice roasted garbanzos, fettuccine, Pringles. That is a real thing. Pringles.
Pumpkin spice Pringles?
Mm-hmm. I haven't found them. I would have bought a can to try it because I don't know if it's like churros.
Oh, well, okay.
If it's in that family of flavors, maybe. But if it's a salty thing, no.
No.
Pumpkin spice deodorant. For real.
Well,
Purchasable.
okay. Well, now, so If it was like cinnamony, nutmeggy, kind of the herbal spice cupboard, like maybe you tripped and you fell into the spice cupboard, I might be okay with that.
I don't feel like that complements the way I start to smell at the gym, though. I'm imagining the commingling of those. Because if it doesn't have an antiperspirant in it and it's just a deodorant, we're just adding smells together. It seems bad.
That could be bad.
Yeah. Whipped pumpkin spice peanut butter.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I'm like, oh. So pumpkin spice.
Wow. You know where you're going to find all this stuff is on Pinterest.
Yes.
And Pinterest is definitely part of the pumpkin spice latte effect. Launched in March of 2010. Pinterest now, as of September 2017, had 200 million monthly active users.
Wow.
So
really?
we are out there taking pictures and making pin boards. And we even have one, although we don't pin nearly as much as we probably could. But no, so here you have all these different trends. And then we're taking pictures of all of them, and then we're posting them.
Mostly mine is recipes that I won't ever try, but I think that I could try.
I don't generally pin. I just voyeur. I'm the creepy guy peeking in through the window. And I'm like, oh, that looks like a great wreath made out of, kitten fingernails. That's amazing, There's so many. It's a great idea kind of machine, and that's why we're all in love with it.
Yes.
But it's a strange thing.
Yeah, it is. And it's definitely like, whoa.
Yeah.
Pinteresting is its own verb now, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you see something that you think is cool, Pinterest that. And I would say that I think Pinterest is a much nicer, neater, and less dusty offshoot of like my mom showed me a 3-ring binder that she had from, I think she started it in the 70s. And it was magazine clippings and all this kind of stuff that she jammed in there. And she's like, this is what I'd like to do with the yard. And I'm like, Mom, if you flip that page, it's going to crumble to dust because you've had it in there for 25 years.
Yep. I hadn't thought of that, but my grandma and grandpa, there are scrapbooks and there's idea books and they've got news clippings. And so that impulse is just more conveniently indulged now.
Oh, it's so much easier because you don't have to go, wow, I guess if I rip this out and I can put it on the kitchen table and then, and then I got to remember to 3-hole punch it and I can't find the 3-hole punch. So I got a single hole punch and the holes don't line. There's so much effort there.
It's fraught with peril.
This is just, neat. Boop, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send it to your sister. Let's make this for Dad's birthday.
Won't this be fun?
And then we have chocolate cake again. That's okay.
You could have cupcakes.
Yeah.
That's another trend.
So many cupcakes. I have a really great recipe that's extremely boozy.
Did you know the first documented cupcake in a cookbook was from Amelia Simmons' American Cookery in 1796?
Wow, they are much older than I thought.
I know.
Really?
I was a little surprised. And it wasn't until the early 2000s in Sex and the City where the cupcake craze began in earnest. So in the television show Sex and the City, Carrie Bradshaw, I think I got that name right.
I feel like you did.
She and her gal pals were going to a very famous bakery in New York, and they were getting cupcakes. And then people who really love the show were also getting cupcakes, and it just exploded.
Pink tutus and cupcakes.
Yes, and everybody started making them and selling them, and we had cupcake shops on like every single corner. And then it expanded all the way up to having cupcake ATMs.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so according to Google, there are several in the United States. If you put in cupcake ATMs, the map will actually pop up where they are.
Is this like those automat machines?
Yes.
You put in money and you pull out a peanut butter ball?
Sprinkles in Beverly Hills, California, and Las Vegas. And then there's Cupcake ATM in Chicago.
I completely support this shame-free cupcake buying environment.
And the Sprinkles one, and I have a picture on the website, is pink. You enter in, what flavor and what you want, and it just pops you out a cupcake. So 24/7 calories
Does it make sparkly sounds when I feel like it should.
Oh. I don't know, but I agree. Maybe some sprinkles come out at you or glitter or something. But and then unfortunately, cupcakes they think were killed by the recession in 2009.
Oh, they kind of are a luxury.
Yeah, we didn't have the money to go buy a $5 cupcake.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and that's the other thing about these kind of pumpkin spice latte effects, although the pumpkin spice latte itself seems to be holding on pretty well, is that they have a very bell curvy sort of thing where all of a sudden we all notice, and then we kind of move out the other side.
Yeah, for sure. The pumpkin spice one of the latte, the average is we only buy one a season at this point, most of us. The one that I remember the best in my lifetime that I remember thinking, must have this, and then being like, why did I need this? Was the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Oh my gosh, I had one of those.
It was ugly, right?
It's totally ugly, and I'm not a girly girl, and
No.
I don't know why I needed to have that weird stitched face doll, but oh my gosh, did I need
I'm
one.
going to tell you why you needed it. And it's like such great marketing. This is an extremely clever man. I hope he's rich and owns an island somewhere.
I'm sure he does.
And then donates tons to orphanages or something. That's what I want to have happened. I did not actually look it up. Let's talk about the real Xavier Roberts. He was a dude in the 70s and 80s who was selling dolls at craft fairs. And these dolls are patterned after...
Xavier Roberts is a real person?
He's a real dude.
Oh my God. So the signature on their butt, was that his actual signature?
I think so.
For those of you who don't know, we'll be posting some stuff on the website. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just shocked.
Me too, because I
Shocked.
hadn't given a whole lot of thought. He called them little people. They were designed after 70s folk art, which then you look at them and you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
They always look kind of like shriveled apple faces.
Yeah,
You know?
but not as cute.
No.
Just, he was going around to craft fairs and selling them, and he eventually set up shop in a converted medical clinic that he called Babyland General Hospital. The employees were dressed in nurses' outfits. The Cabbage Patch Kids were in cribs and incubators, and the staff would interact with them. They would walk around and behave like they were taking care of babies. So when you came in to purchase one, you were actually felt like you were having an adoption experience because the doll came with a birth certificate and adoption papers and a name. And the names originally, when he was in this storefront, were taken from the 1938 Georgia birth records. So they're real names originally. He was into it. And it so worked. Eventually, the dolls were licensed to Coleco in 1982, and they changed the name to Cabbage Patch Kids. And so here is where things really picked up. Oh, their first advertising thing, they talked about Xavier Roberts was a 10-year-old boy who discovered the Cabbage Patch Kids by following a bunny bee behind a waterfall into a magical cabbage patch where he found the Cabbage Patch babies being born. To help them find good homes, he built Babyland General in Cleveland, Georgia, where the Cabbage Patch Kids could live and play until they were adopted. So he creates this mythology. And then they did an advertising campaign where the dolls are in their packaging with their arms outstretched and you could see the adoption certificates. And they sent a Cabbage Patch doll to all the major media outlets. And so Good Morning America, Today Show, probably both. They talked about it because they created this big buzz.
Well, I just remember that was one of the first toys where I can remember hearing on the news that parents were brawling over buying them for Christmas.
Yes, so this big pre-advertising campaign, and then they shorted stores. They had very limited batches, and so they created this fervor, and scalpers were selling these $25 dolls for $150. And so they used that withholding strategy all through all the seasons, and it worked well. So that's the Cabbage Patch Kid.
And it's collectible. And
yes, that collectability of many of these things is very much what seems to drive it.
aside from, say, your pumpkin spice latte and maybe cupcakes starting out being an adult thing, I kind of feel like a lot of these latte effect items are kid driven.
Yeah. Yep.
That, the kids just get onto this thing and then they all, I mean, I can remember like Swatch watches and I can remember.
Oh, I loved Swatch watches.
Leg warmers or those gummy sandals that were like made out of plastic way
and you
back
had to
in the
wear
day.
socks with them or you'd get horrible
Oh, I
blisters.
know. You get terrible blisters and they had no traction and they
No.
smelled. Oh my God. They were
And
the
they
early.
made a noise. I can remember what they sounded like when you were walking.
Kind of a squeaky. Yes, they were the 1980s version of Crocs. Also, just as awkward.
Oh, yeah. I have engaged in many of these things. Finding a thing your kid really wants is sort of like parent gold, too, because they don't want socks and underwear, but you're definitely getting them some garment that they need for Christmas or whatever holiday that they need. I'm always mixing practical gifts in. So if there's something like a fidget spinner that's $10, that's a win, I feel like.
I think you've reached peak popularity when a lot of people love you and everybody's making fun of you.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're mocking the latte and we're mocking the fidget spinner and we're mocking the man bun.
Yeah.
Extremely popular. On some guys, it actually looks okay. Hey, no hate. Don't at me with that. And then, but then we're also mocking because everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Can I just take this moment to tell my mom, thank you for not letting me get MC Hammer pants.
Oh,
I so much wanted them so much. Parachute pants and MC Hammer pants. Parachute pants even more. Thanks, Mom.
I was doing jazz dancing at that time, and so
did you have some? Are there
I
pictures?
do not have a photograph of myself, but there was a big group of us.
Oh.
We did not do the song, but we definitely had some harem pants going on.
Oh, so good.
So poofy.
Yeah.
Again, there's a trend. Thank you, Miss Kathy, for putting us in those pants.
Yes.
So basically, most of the stuff in this episode is stuff that us old people remember, and all of you younger people, you're just going to have to look it all up. Trust us. It was a thing.
Awesome.
It was totally awesome.
Milk bottle caps made out of heavy cardboard were so awesome.
The pins, safety pins with beads.
Oh, friendship bracelets.
Friendship
Did you have a
bracelets.
pair of jeans that had a worn out, like a hole on top just above your knee because you had done so many? I did. I was
Oh,
like queen.
no.
Yeah, so many. Because you have to pin them. Okay, kids.
You had to pin it.
You had to pin it to your jeans, and you'd get in trouble because you were screwing around in class. Yeah. That's all. We're going to go make friendship bracelets now, and I'm going to finish my latte.
Yay!
Yep. I might even Google some Cabbage Patch Kids.
Excellent. Please come visit us at brainjunkpodcast.com. We're going to have so many pictures and notes and videos, so much stuff for you to look at from this episode. And we also have notes from other wonderful episodes. So look for Brain Junk wherever you find your podcasts. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.
We tweet at MyBrainJunk, and you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at BrainJunk Podcast. Drop us a line at brainjunkpodcast@gmail.com with your questions and episode ideas. Trace and I will catch you next time when we share more of everything you never knew you wanted to know. And I guarantee you will not be bored.